Welcome to Whyheem, my YouTube channel where I talk about anime and things of that nature. And today we're starting a series that I've done on my TikTok, link in the description, but I haven't done it on YouTube, called BTA Gang. It's where I go over the biggest ass whoopings that we have ever seen on this planet and detail the great elements of a beautiful ass whooping. Today I'll be going over 3 fights, and to skip the intro, we'll go straight into Uvogin versus Kurapika. But to get straight into the fight, the wonderful part about how this starts is Uvogin and Kurapika both sit there and realize that their fight is gonna have to go somewhere else. So Kurapika offers the great suggestion to formally move the fight to the desert. Now, how both of these fighters decide to prepare for this fight was entirely different. Kurapika decided to bring a shovel to this fight because why the fuck not? And Uvogin decided to piss out leech eggs. And let's just say this will be the last time that his big ass will ever take a piss. I hope he enjoyed it because he didn't last long after this. Pause if needed. Now, before this fight even gets going, there is some very necessary context that is needed for you to understand what the hell is about to happen. Kurapika, after getting his clan slaughtered, made an end contract. They have this chain to attack the people, the group of people that slaughtered his clan. He may only use that chain against those people, and the people that we're talking about is the Phantom Troop, the group that Uvogin is in. And just know said chain is broken as hell, and there's no chance of getting the fuck away. But Uvogin thought that he had a chance, so he punches Kurapika straight in the arm. That shit did nothing. So after they trade some conversation and some hits, Kurapika hits this motherfucker with an instant transmission counter straight to the spine, then gives a kick straight to the side of his cranium, which tells you off rip Kurapika's not playing no games. So after a little more conversation, Uvogin actually decides to snap Kurapika's arm in half. When little did he know, he just got caught in a genjutsu. His arms were restricted, but he didn't see nothing. He looked down and all of a sudden there were chains around his body. And the snapped arm that Kurapika had just got healed within seconds. This brother is now fucked. So after a little more conversation, Kurapika decides to give a Gohan style gut check straight to this man's sternum. Had some real oomph behind it, had some hate behind it. But then he punched Uvogin's other arm. Fucked that thing up. And it seemed like Kurapika actually didn't go for the other arm, just got impatient and said, I want to kill this motherfucker right now, but allowed him to get some final words out. And of course Uvogin said, and bam, dead as hell. Yes, that does mean Kurapika will be YouTube's first member of BTA Gang. Mr. Do You Want a Coffin, cause I'll make that bitch myself, will be our member for today. And guess what? That shovel that he pre-gamed with is now in use and made that motherfucker a coffin right there, which is very nice by Kurapika, so nobody had to sit there and watch him dead as hell lay on the ground. I would almost say a very classy act by Kurapika, but let's move it to the next member of BTA Gang, because the next fight we'll cover is Deontay Wilder and Bermain Stiverne. Now, to add necessary context to this 2017 matchup, they have already fought previously in 2015, where Wilder won by unanimous decision and Stiverne realistically did not have a chance. But luckily 2 years later, coming in at 25-3-1, he decided he wanted to run it back with Wilder, who was 39-0 at that time, 38 knockouts. For anybody that doesn't know much about boxing or doesn't know much about Deontay Wilder, aka the Bronze Bomber, he has a fighting style that I would liken to a nigga that's looking for problems. You know, somebody that stands in front of the corner store. Deontay Wilder simply has the fighting style of the bad kid from school. Not much technique, but goddamn does it get the shit done. Because with 38 knockouts, Deontay Wilder was taking the boxing scene by storm. And Lord did he take Stiverne through there. Because this boxing match will start off like every other match in the history of time. For the first minute, Deontay Wilder's just giving jabs, and Stiverne did not a fucking thing. Stiverne's strategy in this fight was clearly to play defensive. So defensive that he didn't throw his first jab until 1 minute and 57 left on the clock in the first round. 1 minute and 3 seconds to throw a punch in a boxing match. He is clearly not ready for what the hell is about to happen. So after wasting another minute of not even dreaming or thinking of punching Wilder, disaster strikes at 57 seconds. Put up the work. Wilder punches the living hell out of his chest and activated his second form. For everybody wondering what that means for Wilder, pretty much think of it as a Super Saiyan transformation. Because Wilder, who did not activate this transformation last time, allowed the match to end. So clearly, he felt the need in this one to end this right now. Because Wilder, instead of trying to catch Stiverne slipping or out of position, decided to just punched through the guard. And as wild of a strategy that is, it ended up working, and Stiverne got knocked the hell down. One strike for Stiverne right there. Now, when it comes to me and this referee, I would have hoped that he would have looked at the situation in totality and told Stiverne to go home. But there's only two explanations of why Stiverne was allowed back in this match. One, he wanted to see murder, or two, he had money on Stiverne. Because there's actually a frame in the camera where Deontay Wilder is standing like Kid Buu, the embodiment of evil, which is all that Deontay Wilder had in his head in this moment. Because the second that Stiverne was allowed to get boxing again, he got knocked the fuck out once again in the same manner. So now I asked the referee again, what does Stiverne have to gain in this situation? And the answer is nothing. But I will allow the ref some slack because he only allowed him in there with 8 seconds left. Again, 8 seconds. I can expect Stiverne to stay up for 8 seconds. But Wilder, for some reason, got possessed by Ryomen Sukuna. And instead of maybe just letting the 8 seconds go, maybe getting a few punches in, decided to beat these shit out of Stiverne. And Birdman Stiverne didn't even last the 8 seconds. Sounds like a story I've said before. And in a battle between Ryomen Sukuna and Deontay Wilder, Wilder ended up winning through the help of the referee and not killing this man. Because Stiverne went from looking like he was in Toy Story when Andy walks in to literally breakdancing on the fucking mat. And we can go ahead and call the match Deontay Wilder is our second member of BTA Gang. Whenever I watch over this fight, I do actually kind of feel bad for Stiverne. And really, he didn't deserve this shit. He should have stayed home, frankly. And there's nothing else I can say for him. But that will move us into the last fight that we will cover today. The Powerpuff Girls versus Mojo Jojo. Lord help him so. To give an explanation of why these crack-induced little demons got into a more serious fight with Mojo Jojo, it all started with candy. The mayor of Townsville was giving the Powerpuff Girls candy for putting Mojo Jojo in jail. So the Powerpuff Girls and Mojo Jojo came to an agreement, a deal even, where they don't beat the living fuck out of him and they get candy. Very simple situation. But Mojo Jojo, being the dickhead that he is, had to take some of the candy for himself, and the girls decide to get it back in blood. And this is the moment that I say the sugar and spice was gone. That shit was dead in them little girls. And this is when the Chemical X took over, which I couldn't imagine is more than crack, fent, and whatever the fuck Rick Sanchez got in this cabinet. Because these little girls, especially the Green Demon herself, decided to beat the living dog shit out of this band. Now, before we get going with this fight in general, I do want it to be acknowledged that Buttercup is the problem. She put on an absolute Hall of Fame display of barbarianism that I will never see again. As Bubbles and Blossom decided to punch Mojo Jojo regular like they've done before, Buttercup decides to crack his cranium open and have his brains hanging out. Buttercup would never stop there because Mojo Jojo, who was reaching for the candy for some dumbass reason, ended up getting antagonized by this demonic little girl.
You going for that? No. You want some more, man? Did you? No. Yeah? No.
And his reward for sitting through that unskippable cutscene was a nub through the esophagus. This girl Buttercup put her full nub, boot, whatever the fuck you want to call it, through this man's mouth and knocked out teeth. And that's when the ass whooping then commenced. And it got even worse than I ever thought it could have. With Mojo Jojo sitting there with his fingers broken, his brains hanging out, his spine broken, his teeth on the floor. And Mojo Jojo, with his lungs probably crushed and collapsed, was only able to say, Mr. Jojo, Mojo Jojo, was only saved by the kindness of Blossom, who said the blasphemous statement,
What have we done? Look at us. Look at Mojo. This isn't who we are. This is crazy.
Now, I will give Blossom her credit from stopping the ass whooping, but I will have to say, I have evidence of otherwise. She says that's not us. I say she's directly on brand. But again, even with Blossom stopping them, Buttercup was still ready to fuck this man up. Thankfully, he was allowed to be let go and he didn't end up dying on that floor. And no matter of the savagery that I just witnessed, I do have to introduce the Powerpuff Girls to BTA Gang. Because when we're talking about belt to ass, they did that plus 10 times worse. You have to understand, 3 superpower little girls treated their apparent brother way worse than Kurapika, who was looking face to face with the man who killed his whole clan. Uvogin got treated better than Mojo Jojo. But that'll be the end of the video. Like, share, subscribe, and subscribe to my editor, Yungfaxmachine. Go ahead and say hi to him, everybody. He does a great job. And let me know if we need to keep this series going or what you need to see on the next one. But the outro question for today is, how much money would it take for you to fight Prime Mike Tyson? And personally, if I'm thinking about this, I'm not sure because I don't know if there's a number. But just for the sake of this video, I'll just go like 20 million. That doesn't even cover the medical fees. Let's just go, yeah, I'm gonna get like 50 mil, dead ass. Peace.